I've shared a lot of videos over the years on this channel that cover a wide variety of topics. I've made videos on articulation and sound development and multiple tonguing and how to get the most out of your practice sessions. In general, the videos that I put out represent the views that I had at the time that the videos were released. And my hope is that when you watch my videos, that it will help fill in any gaps that you may have in your trumpet playing approach. The problem, or one of the difficulties about sharing this trumpet information on YouTube, is that it's really difficult to give the wider context of my entire pedagogy in just one video. What I mean by that is the way that you have to title things and the way that you have to make videos can make it very easy for it to come across as me saying in these videos, playing the trumpet the way I'm describing in this video is the best way to play the trumpet, and it's going to solve all of your problems. Instead of the reality, which is playing the trumpet like I'm describing in this video is just one piece of a gigantic puzzle you need to put together to play the trumpet well. I hope that by giving you this piece of the puzzle, it gives you more confidence in where you should place other pieces of the puzzle as well. So what I'd like to do in this video is give you that fuller picture of my pedagogy and what I think the big, most important things are on the trumpet, and then how do my YouTube videos fit into that pedagogy. To start, I want to share something that I think it's important that we both agree on, which is everything that happens on the trumpet is guided by a thought. We may disagree on what the best thoughts to think are, but it's important to understand that nothing happens on the trumpet that isn't first guided by a thought. This concept is covered really well in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey in his discussion of the first and second creation. The way Covey describes it, everything we do in life has two creations. The first is a mental creation, and the second is a physical creation. If you take this information from Stephen Covey and you apply it to the trumpet, what it means is that everything we do in practice or performance is guided first by a mental thought. It's just that not all of us have decided ahead of time what that thought should be. And I hope it's really clear on why this is important to consider. If everything that we do on the trumpet is guided by a mental picture of what we're trying to do, it makes sense that figuring out what the right things to think about will have a huge impact on what's going to come out the other end of your bell. Well, you might ask, what are the right things to think about? To answer that question, we need to turn to the research of Gabriella Wolf. Or maybe it's Gabriella Wolf. I don't know. In a January 2024 research article titled Golf Skill Learning, an External Focus of Attention Enhances Performance and Motivation, the first sentence of the paper's abstract reads, an external focus of attention has been shown to enhance the performance and learning of motor skills relative to an internal focus. An external focus of attention leading to a performance increase over an internal focus of attention? That sounds awesome. But what exactly is an external or an internal focus of attention? Well, according to this paper, an external focus of attention involves a concentration on the intended effect of the movement, such as the motion of an implement, like a tennis racket, trajectory of a frisbee, or the spin of a ball, or hitting a target, like a bullseye, or an image, like creating a, quote, platform with the arms when passing a volleyball or having a pendulum-type motion of a golf club. Conversely, an internal focus of attention refers to a concentration on body movements, such as how to move one's arms, wrists, or hips. But what does this have to do with the trumpet, you might ask? So on the trumpet, an internal focus of attention could refer to any number of things that are going on in your body, like thinking about your tongue position, or maybe thinking about your fingers moving, or trying to think about the firmness of your embouchure when you're playing. However, an external focus of attention would be thinking of things outside of your body, like the resonance of your sound, or maybe thinking about sending your air all the way through your instrument and out the other end of the bell, or maybe even the musical phrase that you are playing. Wolf's research would suggest that when you are playing the trumpet, thinking about where your tongue position is striking for any given note is going to lead to decreased performance when comparing it to thinking about the sound that you want to create when you're performing. I think a great number of trumpet pedagogues would accept this conclusion, having verified it in their own performance as well as seeing it in their students in their teaching. So why am I talking about this then? Well, if you've been following my channel for any length of time, you've noticed that I have a lot of videos on my channel that aren't talking about just focusing on the sound you're trying to create or the musical phrase that you are playing. Instead, my videos sometimes talk about what part of your tongue is involved when you are releasing air, or how much compression are you using when you release it, or even like where is the mouthpiece on your face in my embouchure change video with Matt Van Gel. Am I of the belief that we should be thinking about these types of things rather than focusing on the sound we are creating on our trumpet? Of course not. To tell you what I actually think, it is my belief that the focus of attention you should have for all musical performance is either the sound that you want to create, vividly imagining that sound in your head, or focusing on the musical phrase that you are trying to craft. Both of these are very closely related. I think if you get yourself into a music performance situation and you are thinking about where is your tongue striking, or trying to make sure your embouchure is firm enough for a given register that you're in, you're going to find yourself in a world of trouble. So why do I talk about these things on my YouTube channel? Well, there are two answers to this question. First, if you pay extra careful attention to my videos, I always try to make an attempt to share some sort of fix that is an external focus of attention. Take my video where I talk about making the trumpet easier by focusing on the vibration on your lips or at your aperture. In this video, I am advocating that you would focus on creating that vibration at the aperture so that you can develop more consistency and intensity in your airstream when playing. It may seem like I am recommending that you should think about this technical aspect of playing the trumpet rather than thinking about just the sound you want to create and that's it. And in a sense, I am recommending that. But focusing on the vibration happening at your aperture is external focus of attention. And I think that if you are going to get into the nitty-gritty about the trumpet and try to break it down, being able to do that in a way that yields focusing on an external focus of attention is good. So even if that's the only video you watched on my channel, and then you decided this has all of the secrets to playing the trumpet, which it doesn't, it would still be a first creation thought that would yield a higher performance outcome because it's an external focus of attention than other more internally driven focuses. And this leads me to the overwhelming point of this video. The videos that I make on my YouTube channel are largely made up of just drills. These drills are simply drills that are designed to help guide a player into a new way of thinking and to help them find and create a new sound or a new way that the trumpet can feel that will yield more consistent outcomes and higher performing outcomes. But, and this is super important, it's just the first step in the overall grand scheme of my pedagogy. It is not the end. The full context of my pedagogy related to my YouTube videos is you're going to watch a YouTube video of mine, like this vibration one. You're going to try it out. And if it does help you create a more consistent sound or a more even sound, and you think this is good, you want to use that drill to begin memorizing what does it sound like when I play that way? What does it feel like when I play that way? So you can begin to try to take that feeling or that sound over to other fundamental exercises where you can begin to try to imprint it as habit. When you're doing these fundamental exercises to make it habit, you're not necessarily thinking of the focus we talked about in the drill. You're thinking about the sound that the drill produced and trying to produce that sound more and more often. If you find it hard to do that, that's okay. You can always just fall back on the drill to help remind you of that sound, to help remind you of that feeling, so that it becomes like this loop. You're either playing with that sound and that feeling, or if you forget, you use the drill to remind yourself so that you can drive it right back into your playing, so that hopefully it will become more and more habitual and it just becomes the way you do things. So no, the videos on my channel do not encapsulate my pedagogy. My pedagogy, I believe, in the end is hear the sound you want in your head and really try to create that sound at all times. But for players who have obstacles in their way, or maybe they just don't have as developed of a mental picture, I hope the drills that I share in my YouTube videos will help guide those players to a more beautiful, a more resonant, and just a more compelling way of playing the trumpet. If you want to watch that video that I was referencing earlier about feeling the vibration on your aperture, you can click the video on the screen and check that out. We'll see you in the next video.